Welcome to the next in our series, Awesome Admin Tech Talks. Our platform edition today is focused on empowering business users with pre-structured data. Tech Talks is a series of short webinars that are deep dives for technical practitioners. We value you, our customer, and want you to continue in your Splunk journey. Our experts help create these best practices, and we want you to leverage them in your daily role. Hello, I am Greg Daly. My role in Splunk is working as a Technical Marketing Manager, or TMM, for platform technologies such as Splunk Enterprise, Splunk Cloud, and Data Stream Processor. I'm excited to share with you information about pre-structured data, or how to create data tables and data visualizations without having to code in SPL. I'm going to show you an example of extracting data from an existing index and then graphing that data all again without having to code in SPL. Today's agenda will include looking at index data and enriching the data through known source types and lookups, building out data tables and data models to structure your data, and even edit the data tables through a graphical interface using pivot tables. We're going to explore, analyze, and pivot the Splunk data using several no-code features. And then, as always, I will take you through additional resources for you to continue your Splunk journey. Okay, let's go through an exercise very quickly, very simple example of actually taking real index data, using the table views to create formatted structured data. At your landing page, after you log into Splunk, go ahead and go into the default app, Search and Reporting. Once Search and Reporting comes up, you'll notice that we have a Analyze Your Data with Table Views, Create Table View. Table views let you prepare data without using SPL. This is exactly what we're talking about. It's right here on every install of your 8+ Splunk Enterprise. So let's go ahead and go into the table view tool. Let's select some data. I'm going to use some of our operational intelligence data, and I'm going to go into the source type access combined. Okay. Now, what's nice is this is all searchable. This is all very preview orientated. It's straightforward. It's point and click. So I'm going to click some descriptions. I'm going to click my type. I'm going to peruse some fields so I can pull up into my table. Okay, I definitely want to know what agent they're coming from, what device and browser they're using, because maybe it's a coding error that's only affecting certain browsers or certain browser version device type combinations. Which web server is handling the traffic here? Okay, because it may be a platform issue. Maybe one of the hosts, whether it's a virtual instance or a VM or a physical server, maybe it's having issues, and we can relate the failures or the errors or the warnings, whatever we're looking for, to a specific host. I also want to know where they're coming from. So let's find that field. So we'll include state because, outages sometimes are regional. Sometimes they're mostly within one state. And again, if we pull the proper amount of data, we can help figure this out. Okay. So now we've got a couple of fields here. We've built ourselves a table. Let's go ahead and start working with it. We're going to click Start Editing. Okay. Now, as you see in the upper right-hand corner, the SPL is revealed to you. Okay. If you're not an SPL coder, just don't worry about the upper left-hand corner. But if you're new to Splunk and you eventually want to start getting into coding for your data, this is a great learning tool because it will show you each step as we go through and customize this table. It will show you the SPL steps. Then you'll be able to open up the entire well-formatted SPL stanza in a search window. Okay. So now that we're in the editing phase here, I want you to know we can go do things like we can rearrange the columns by moving columns. We can delete and rename columns, just like you can in Excel. Okay? We can declare value types, okay, field types. Now let's say I'm going to do this wrong for a second just to generate the error, but say we need to set something to an IP4. Well, notice it all just lit up red. These aren't IP addresses, therefore this is the wrong type to declare the column. It is a string, so let's make it a string value, okay? Now, one of the things I want to do here is we've got some very critical keywords here in our status type. So a couple of things. One thing is in the status description, I'm looking for problems. Okay, maybe I'm a business analyst, BA, maybe I'm the MIS, I'm jumping onto Splunk trying to help out the team, trying to figure out why certain transactions aren't going through properly. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to filter by value. Okay, now you can do contains, not contains, start with, ends with, regex, matches, empty, not empty, anything you want to choose. But I want to say do not contain because I know the OKs are fine. I'm looking for the problems today. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to go ahead and I want to filter out the ones that have status OK. Okay, this now leaves me with the problems I'm looking for. Do you see these error keywords down here on status underscore type? That looks like a good split, because we want to find that, again, the things that are having errors, not the successfuls, not the OKs. So let's go ahead and let's use split fields. Okay. The two fields we declare sides, is it's a client or server, okay? Or is it an error message? Okay. Now that we have the error message up, what I want to make sure is I filter by a value. I want to make sure that I'm just looking at errors. Okay. So now I've created a whole new column. I filtered by that whole new column. And now I get to figure out where these problems are occurring and how they relate to the status description. Okay. Now you can. This is the row or the row view. You can also look things as summaries. Okay, and you can see the distributions of the values within each one of the fields. This is a very slick tool that allows you to quickly peruse the data and see what kind of distributions you have. Okay, including things like how many of the events within a specific column are null. Okay, and if we have an exorbitant amount of nulls, okay, we may want to filter against those. Okay, so let's go back to the row view here, and I think we've laid out things where it's quite discernible at this point, and we've looked at them in both summary and row format. And again, if you want to see the code, you definitely can. All you have to do is open this whole thing up in search, use your control bar command, and that will actually show you the fully enumerated, correct, well-formatted SPL stanza. Okay, with all the information that you decided to pull out of this particular data set, okay, including your error message, which was a custom field you extracted. Now that we've created our table view and we've looked at the results of creating this table in an actual SPL window, now we can go ahead and save this table view. Okay, we're going to call this table view Web App Debugger. And we're going to view the table. Now this table has been saved, which you can share. You can apply permissions to. You can assign the access to your table to any user group you want in your Splunk search head, and present that data as a simple table to yourself or any other data user you need to share this information with. Now that we have a table view, the data table, saved as a table view, and we've named it Web App Debug 1, we want to make sure a couple of parameters are set before we go on to the next step in Analytics Workspace. That will continue our no-code journey, where we will visualize data without actually having to use SPL code. Okay? If you look by the title of this table view, you'll see a little lightning bolt. That's the accelerator or acceleration indicator. You can control that in Edit Accelerations, but first, make sure you share this with the proper audience of your data. Set permissions as your groups and roles are assigned within your Splunk organization. Then Edit Acceleration. You can see here I've turned on acceleration simply by checking the Accelerate box, and I've set it to 1 month worth of accelerated data. Okay. To get on to the next step, we must have this table view accelerated or Analytics won't pick it up as a data set. So let's go into Analytics. Again, in your search and reporting app, you see up the upper menu, we're going to hit the Analytics selection in the menu. Okay, and we're going to bring it up and we're going to go to data sets. Now you can do matrix data, you can do SPL, you can do alerts, but since we were just working with a data set, let's stick with that data set and look at some visualizations. Now, what we want to know here is sort of the overall count of activity, and we can split this by host. Okay? Now notice, I've just created a line graph without entering a single phrase of search processing language code. Okay? I can simply point and click, pull up information, and adjust that information, including split information. Okay, remember we saved all for error messages, so the error messages would be there. So let's see if there's a user agent component we can visualize. Okay. They all seem to be having issues, whether they're on Android or iPhone. Okay, so there's different variations, but I can't conclusively say that this peak here with the iPhone with the specific version here, if that's the culprit, because you can see here we're getting these errors across every platform, so it's probably not device centric, but I probably want to display this information anyways to share it with the rest of the group. Now remember we captured the side. We want to know whether we're getting server side or client side problems. Okay, well here you go. We're getting a lot more server side problems. Okay. And we can split this by any field we want. Now we're getting to the heart of this. We saw that, and we may probably want to keep this. We probably want to say the side as one graph, because we definitely shows a predominance of problems within the server side of the application, not the client. Okay. And then we'll pull another side graph, and then we'll split it differently, and that's where we'll go into the status description. Okay. And what we're finding out is we're getting service unavailable, and we're getting majority server side problems. So this is not a network side problem. This is probably not an internet problem. This is probably some sort of internal networking or internal host problem or application problem. Okay. Once we start taking out this information, and let's do one more bit just to share with the group, is we want to see how these are occurring based on the noted value of the customer. Now, fortunately, these are probably low, like free play customers or freeware customers. So it may be specific to a particular tier of users on the other end. So now we can do. I've done this for the last hour, which you see it comes up with the graph. But you can simply change here, and you can go to any custom default or custom time frame to pull any data you want out. Now, once you've created the information that you wanted to visualize, and if you want to get a quick update, we haven't seen fresh data in 4 minutes. What is it still going on? So we refresh, okay, and voila, we're still getting a problem, okay? So now I want to publish this out to the dashboard system. Give it a title. We're going to go ahead and share it out in the app, so whoever got the permissions in the app will be able to see this dashboard, and then we're going to go ahead and save this, okay? And then we can view it up in the dashboard. Okay, now I've just created, and this is in the standard XML dashboards. These can be converted if you upgraded to Dashboard Studio. You can directly output to Dashboard Studio, or you can convert existing dashboards like the one I just created and just take a second step and export it up to the Dashboard Studio, and we'll convert it to the newer type of dashboards. So let's go back into datasets. Let's search and find our data table we just created, and we're going to go ahead and select Edit Table. Now, since this is an accelerated data table, you will get a warning that the table is in fact accelerated, and if you edit the table, the rebuild of the acceleration is required. The Splunk platform will take care of that for you. Just realize it will take a couple of minutes to several minutes to get the data table upgraded throughout the whole search cluster. Just be aware of that part. Okay, so we're going to continue to editing. Now, I just found out that one of the industrious sysadmins has created a lookup table that gives you system status information about particular hosts. So what we can do is we can enrich our table with a lookup table that's being published and updated about every 5 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to select our host column, we're going to add new, and we're going to join from a lookup. Then we're going to select the lookup of host status. We're going to pair up our lookup fields to the data table fields. They're both the host column. And then once we find the host, we want to see its availability, whether it's in a maintenance cycle or whether it's being restarted. And we're going to go ahead and click Next, and then we're going to click Apply. Now, for all our system hosts, we have a restart condition field, a maintenance field, and an availability field. Okay? And then we could sort on these fields if necessary. But we want to include this system status information because we want to make sure that a maintenance window or an emergency reboot isn't the cause for the problems they're seeing online. So once we have enriched our data using the joined from a lookup, we're going to go ahead and save this data table. Just remember that it is going to have to reaccelerate, so go ahead and give it a few minutes. But from this point forward, every time this data table is updated, it will include the lookup information. Finally, and very quickly, I'd like to show you yet another method to manage and edit your data tables. We've all been gone through the edit table, but now I'd like to take you through visualization with pivot. The pivot tables allow you a user interface that allows you to point and click through and grab any data you want from your data set. You can declare splits and split columns. And quickly build up a data set and then visualize that data. Yes, it's that fast, it's that easy, it's that point and click, and again, you need exactly 0 SPL code to get the visualization completed. Additional resources. Continue your Splunk journey. We have a large library of tech talks, including things like getting data in, exploring your data, and using pre-structured data via no-code methodologies. We have a plethora of documentation about preparing your data, getting the data in, using pivot tables, using data models, and, in general, just how to be an awesome Splunk admin. And remember, answers.splunk.com and community.splunk.com. Those are your resources to ask questions, submit ideas, and start a conversation on new features and methodology within your Splunk platform. Thank you for attending today's awesome admin tech talk on pre-structured data. I hope you found this information useful, and I hope it increases the usability of your data in your Splunk platform. Please join us again for the next awesome admin tech talk, and have a great day.